All right. Plan for today is to go over Schoology. We started a new unit this week, so we're going to be talking about different equations, solving two-step equations, solving multi-step equations, and then we will definitely do some practice after we kind of review that. And then we'll talk about our Class Connect assignment and what's coming up in the future. So first off, and again, I kind of want to can get in the habit of starting these things off is that our character strong word of the month is honesty. So again, if you want to share, you can. If not, just think about this. Is it ever okay or is it ever acceptable to be dishonest? What do you think? And again, you can share out or you can just think to yourself. Right? Let's get into our Schoology review. All right, so if we look so far, what have we done? We finished up Unit 6 about circles and cylinders, finding volume, finding surface area, and now we're jumping into some equations. So again, however you decide to take notes, if you print them, if you download them, here's your blank notes. Here are my completed notes. So as you can see, for the next couple weeks, we will be working with equations. Just want to touch on this so I don't forget. Okay, again, looking at our pacing guide next week. If you look next week, there's no school on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so I won't post anything until Wednesday of next week. Okay. Yep, there's no school on Monday or Tuesday next week. It's President's Day on Monday and it's a teacher work day on Tuesday. All right. So let us make sure you've got something to write with, a pen or pencil, something to write with. We're going to do a couple examples together and then we'll get some practice on our own. All right. So just a reminder that the chat is to be used for math class stuff only. And that goes again with messaging people. Okay. We want to be kind and respectful of everyone. So again, we are only going to be using the chat box when appropriate. So a two-step equation kind of works like this, where we've got something called order of operations and PEMDAS. Who can remind me, maybe someone who's willing to unmute, what does PEMDAS kind of mean?
Parentheses, um, um, I don't remember what the E is. Exponent,
Yep.
exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction.
So that's kind of the order that we have to solve stuff. When we're combining like terms or we're doing something, we have to follow the order of operations. However, when we solve a problem, okay, when we're undoing it, we're doing the inverse operation. Okay, that's a big word. And we're actually going to go the other way, which means we have to undo all addition and subtraction first before we can do multiplication and division. And then we've got exponents and then parentheses. So let's take a look at what that means. There's a couple things or a couple ways that that can mean something. So if I take the equation, let us say 7x minus 2 equals 19. Earlier this year, we practiced one-step equations, where again, what we have to do, what our goal is to separate the left side from the right side. So if I think about order of operations and going in reverse order backwards, I got to look at, is there any addition or subtraction that I can undo? Okay, is there any addition or subtraction that I can undo? And I see that I have a -2, a -2. So I think, what's the opposite of subtracting 2? That's going to be adding 2. And anything I do on the left, I got to do on the right. So now I'm left with 7x equals 21. And when I think about, okay, this says 7 times x equals 21. 7 times x equals 21. How do I undo that? I need to divide by 7 to get an answer of 3. So really, when we're trying to solve these two-step equations, it's super important that we do addition and subtraction first before we do multiplication and division. Because here's why. If I were to take that same problem and try to divide first, look how messy it gets. I have to divide by 7. That means I have to divide by 7x and I have to divide by -2. And -2 over 7, that gives us a fraction, a decimal. It's not very nice. This is one type of problem that you're going to have to solve. All right, Landon, if you want to talk about notes, we can do that privately, and not everyone does it with their family. So again, that's going to be a private conversation. Okay, if we look at, let's say, 6x minus 4 plus 2x minus 8 equals, let's say 16. There's a key term that I'm looking for, and it's called like terms. Who can explain what's a like term?
It's like, so the two like terms here are 6x and 2x.
I agree. Are those the only like terms?
No,
What's another like term?
-4 and -8.
All right. So like terms are either numbers, straight up numbers, like -4 and -8, those are like terms, or variables that have the same exponent. So let's think, is x and x to the third a like term? No, they are not like terms. And the reason is that this has an exponent of 1, this has an exponent of 3. Those are totally different. Okay, those are totally different. So we got to make sure that their exponents are the same. All right, as I look, 6x plus 2x gives me 8x. -4 minus 8 gives me -12, and it still equals 16. Always combine like terms first. Once you've combined like terms, then you can separate the left and the right side. So I think, how do I undo subtracting 12? Well, the opposite, the inverse operation of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add both sides, or add to both sides, and get 28. And then I think, how do I undo multiply by 8? I need to divide. So x equals, let's see here, 8, 16, 24, 3, and I'm left with 4 eighths. How can I reduce 4/8? What's a simplified way to say 4/8?
3.5.
3 1/2. Awesome. I've got one more example to show you, and then we will get into our practice. Landon, can you put, is that a cat? Is that a blanket? Turtle. All right. Nice turtle. Let's go ahead and put that away. Okay. Last problem that I want to talk about is what happens if we get something with a fraction. So let's say I've got 5x minus 2 over 3 equals, let's say 6. Anything that we have on the top of our numerator, it's like it's got parentheses. Anything on the bottom is like it's got parentheses. So when I look at this, this says 5x minus 2 equals 6. 5x minus 2 divided by 3. What is my first step? If this 5x minus 2 is being divided by 3, and I think about PEMDAS, what is the inverse operation of division?
Multiplication.
So I need to multiply the top of this equation by 3, okay? 3 over 1. And I need to do that. If I do that on the left, I need to do that on the right. So 3 divided by 3, that cancels out. All I'm left with is 5x minus 2 equals 6 times 3 is 18. Now this looks just like the problems we've already solved. Now that I've gotten rid of that division, now that I've gotten rid of that fraction, I can simply do my inverse operations and get 5x equals 20, divide by 5, and get x equals 4. All right, that was real quick. We did a two-step equation. We did a combining like terms equation. And we did, this is actually a multi-step equation, okay? Because we had to multiply it, add it, then divide it. But we can do that now, okay? This is algebra. You guys are really, really doing true, pure algebra. All right, so get ready to do some practice. I'm gonna pull it up and we're gonna put a link in the chat and we are gonna get some practice. Okay, I am looking. Uh, multi-step equations. There we go. All right. So my expectation is that everyone is participating in this. Okay. So I'm going to count how many people are in the meeting. I'm going to count how many people click on the link. There's the link. Go ahead, click on that. And we got a decent amount of time to do some practice. All right. If you're watching the recording, I'm going to share my screen and go through some of the questions for you to look at. Again, pause the problem, try it on your own, then hit play. Some of these are easier than others. There's a distributive property. We can review this afterwards if we're not sure how to do this one. All right, we've got 10 people in. That's awesome. Let's see how many people are in our meeting. We've got 10. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to go about 3 or 4 more minutes. So keep taking your time. We're going to go about 3 or 4 more minutes. All right, about 1 more minute. If you don't finish, that's okay. Try your best. There's a couple, I want to go over at least one problem together before we talk about our Class Connect assignment. Nice job, Addie. All right, wrapping it up in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome work. The problem that I wanted to go over together was, let me draw it. Let me share my screen and draw it, because this was kind of a commonly missed question. All right, so Landon, this one was missed by quite a few people, so make sure we follow along so we don't make the same mistake more than once. Okay, You can actually solve this one two different ways. The easiest way to solve this one is, let's look at the right side. This says 6. The distributive property tells me 6 multiplies into every single point in here. Okay? So if I do 6 times k, 6 times 8, or I can, instead of doing that, I can divide by 6. So this will save me some steps. So instead of multiplying this 6 into everything, I'm going to divide this right side by 6. And if I divide the right side by 6, I got to divide the left side by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is going to cancel out. So that's going to help us out because this goes away. And all I'm left with is k plus 8. And 96 divided by 6 is 16. Now how do I get rid of adding 8? I have to subtract 8. And I get 8 equals k. So the answer for that one was 8. Sweet. All right, your Class Connect assignment. Again, this is how you get your credit. Okay, show me that you were paying attention. Let's take a look. All right, in our Class Connects assignments folder, I'm going to publish it. H plus 1 minus 4 equals 76. First, you should add 4 to each side, okay? The first thing you should do is add 4 to each side. Once you do that, you should divide by 10. And then you're left with h plus 1 equals something. And then you can solve from there, okay? So again, setting this up, add 4 to each side, divide by 10. And then there's one more step that you need to do. This one, you're going to need to combine like terms, okay? We did an example of this together. You need to combine like terms and then solve. And finally, we talked about like terms and we talked about an inverse operation. So go ahead and choose which number, what description applies to like terms, what description applies to inverse operations. Okay, so remember, with it being a short week next week, there's no school Monday or Tuesday. We will not meet, okay? We will not meet as a Class Connect. You'll still have work, but we're not going to meet as a Class Connect. All right. That's all I've got for you. Have a great rest of your day and long weekend. You guys get a 5-day weekend. Woohoo.
Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.